So you had purchased my Pyra and Sarene wings thinking, hey, it says basic Unity and Blender knowledge, I can apply this myself, and found that it might be harder than it seems. It is a long time coming for me to make this tutorial, and a lot of people had needed help and had reached out to me, and making this tutorial will make everyone's lives a whole lot easier. In addition to that, if you still have issues after watching the tutorial, feel free to join my Discord. Link is right here at any page. Discord is in fact the best way to reach me. I would be happy to help. So let's start. A few prerequisites for these assets that you will need is Blender, whatever version you will have. Most likely you will already have an avatar that you're working on that you would like to attach the wings to. Currently, I'm just using Zimpia's e-girl, but you can use whatever body you would want. By now you would hopefully have the full model going. For Blender, you will also need the Cat's Blender plugin unofficial. They have a bunch of versions here for whichever Blender version you are using. It gives you all the instructions here on how to download. I have already had this downloaded and ready to go for this tutorial, but this is super easy to install. You can Google Cat's Blender plugin unofficial and it'll pop up. Just download this and make sure it fits whichever Blender version you are using. You are most definitely going to need the Creative Companion and the compatible version SDK and Unity version that is compatible to VRChat. You can easily find this through the VRChat website and download it. Let's start with the Blender portion of this tutorial. Once again, you're going to need the Cat's plugin, as well as obviously my asset. So let's pull that up right here. This is what you're going to get. You're going to get a bunch of the wings, as well as a few animations. We will get to the animations on the Unity portion of the video, but for now, we're going to copy the directory for this file wherever you downloaded it, and then you're going to go File, Import, FBX. You're going to paste up here the directory again, and because I'm using e-girl, I will use the Pyra and Sarene wings underscore e-girl, as that is the perfect fit for my model. So I'm going to wait for this to import, and it imported kind of quickly. For this sake of the video, we'll remove everything that is not the wings, since that is what we want to focus on. I will turn everything except the tail and the wings and delete them. What you're going to do now is you're going to go into your Cat's plugin on the side here, and if you don't see this bar, you have to press N on your keyboard, and you're going to go to Custom Model Creation. You're going to go to the Armature Merge. Make sure everything here is turned off, and we want to make sure that the top armature is the armature we're merging to, which is the e-girl, and the bottom armature is the armature we're merging to the top one, which for our case is armature, which is the one that contains the tail and the wings. All we got to do is merge armature. And now if we go into pose mode, you can see that when we move everything, the wings move, and if I select the hips of the character, the wings move with the character, which is exactly what we wanted. Now what we're going to do is make sure that these two up here, if we go to the armature modifier, they should be attached to the armature that we are related to, which is armature right here. I have a few different armatures in this project, so please ignore the rest of these. It should auto-populate. We're gonna take them and drag them with shift onto the armature right here. So if we toggle this, it'll be underneath and will disappear. We just want to make sure everything is applied correctly, which in this case it looks like it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to select these and go File, Export, FBX, and then you're going to decide where you want this. I will save it to here. I already have a preset settings for everything that I'm exporting to Unity. In this case, I will go through it. I have selected objects turned on, FBX all, which this depends on the export method of your specific project. As long as you stick to the same method as your original project, you should be fine. And I have add leaf bones turned off. And now we're going to name this whatever we want, which I will name it Pyra and Sarene Wings Tutorial, and we're going to hit export. Do not forget to save. Now to the Unity portion of the video. I already created a few folders over here to make my life easier, but I'm going to get everything that's Blender and Unity into this folder right here. We're going to go to where we saved our FBX, and we're going to drag and drop it straight into Unity, and we're going to wait for Unity to load it. Here it is down here. You're going to need to do a few things to it. In the import settings, it's going to look like this. On model, you're going to have to turn read and write defaults on, and legacy blend shape normals on. Hit apply. In the rig, you got to make sure it is humanoid. apply, go to configure avatar, make sure the chest is populated over here, and make sure in the head, currently I do not have a head, so this does not populate with the eyes and the jaw. Make sure the eyes are correct and the bone is on none for the jaw, and then you hit done. And if you want, you can apply the materials over here. For the sake of this tutorial, I will not. I will drag and drop it into my scene to make sure it populates. Here's our avatar. I already prepared the material for the wings and the tail in advance, so I will go into both of those, open material, and make sure my material is in here. In the case that this happens and you see only one-sided, you have to go into rendering, call, and turn back to off. Now you'll be able to see them from both sides. And now we're going to make sure that the avatar has a VRChat descriptor. You're going to populate as you normally would. I will set up the GoGoLoco ones as these are the ones that I currently use. Alrighty, now that I set up Gogo on here, we can go back and we can set up everything that we need. So I will, now that it is relevant, go back to the package you have received and select all of the animations and drag them into your Unity project and wait for Unity to load. I also duplicated the FX controller from Gogo just so we can have a fresh, clean start. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the blend trees. Everything should already be aligned, but we're going to set up the blend tree first. You're going to double click this, create a new layer, and you're going to call this wing control or whatever name you want to name it. You're going to go to weight, set it to 1 over here, and you're going to create a new blend tree. This is going to be our blend tree. I personally use right defaults off, so I turn this off. The best way to check if your right defaults are on and off is go to one of the other animations. For example, this one. I click it and I see right defaults turned off. In the case that it is turned on, make sure on the blend tree the right defaults are also turned on. We're going to double click the blend tree and we're going to set it up here to 2D simple directional. You will see that there are two different parameters over here. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to the parameters over here on this side. We're going to click new and we're going to add a float. This one we're going to name wings, control H for horizontal. You can copy this, make a new float, and name this one wings, control V for vertical. So now what we're going to go here back to our blend tree. Up here in the corner, we're going to go to wings, control H, and then wings, control V, as this is the horizontal and this is the vertical parameter. Now what we need to do is we're going to add a motion field. We're going to add a few of those, and we're going to ignore the numbers for now. It is completely wrong, but for now we're going to ignore it. What we're going to do is we're going to drag wings flying, wings curl 1, wings curl 2, wings closed, wings open. And now we're going to set these in space. So everything should be set to 0, 0 for now. So wings flying should be on 0, 1. As you can see, that moved it up here to the position 0 on X and 1 on Y. Now wings curl 1, we want it to the right, so that will be 1, 0. Wings curl 2, we want it on the left, so that will be -1, 0. Wing closed, when I want to close my wings, I want it to go down in the radial menu, so I put it at -1, so it'll go to the bottom. And wings open, I just want it 0, 0, because that is the natural position. So usually it will not emulate right now, but in the case that we move this to top, the wings will fly. If we move to the right, the wings will curl from one way. If we move to the left, they will curl 2, which is the other way. And if we go down, the wings will close. The default is going to be wings open because that is on 0, 0. Now what we are going to do is we're going to add the parameters. I went ahead and I duplicated my parameters. So parameters, we gotta go in parameters, and menu, we're gonna go in menu. What we're going to do is we're gonna make a new menu just for the wings. So we're gonna go, in the case that you want to do that, you're gonna go create VRChat avatar expression menu. We're gonna call this wings control, and now we're going to add a new button here, and instead of a button here, we're gonna go into a 2-axis puppet. Now what we're going to do is we're gonna add our parameters from before. We have to make sure that they are exact same spelling, so I'm gonna copy paste them into here and then into here. It is telling me that this parameter does not exist in the parameter list, which means we have to go to this one and add it in here. We're going to paste it, make sure it's a float, and once again with the other one that I forgot to do, we're going to add it, we're going to paste it, and now we have our control horizontal and vertical. If we go back to our menu, we have the horizontal control being this one and the vertical control being this one. It is currently not telling me that it is working because it is not connected to the avatar. So in the case that I drag in the parameters up here, it'll suddenly tell me everything is working because it is detecting the parameters in this menu. We do not need labels necessarily. Everything should work automatically. If you want to label it, you can. This is where you will do it. This will be my wing control button. It'll be right here. We do not need anything else. It should look like this. And we got to make sure that in here we add it as a sub menu. So let's look, sub menu, drag this one in here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the emulator so we can test in Unity without uploading into VRChat. What you're going to do is you're going to go into the creator companion. You're going to find your project and you're going to hit manage project. You're going to let it load. And what you're going to add is the AV3 emulator. It should already be in this list. If it is not already in here, you can go and add it to the VCC. A simple Google of AV3 emulator should pop it up. Add the listing to VCC. This is a super helpful tool if you do not already have it. I already have it in this project. So we're going to go into tools, avatar 3.0 emulator, and we're going to enable it. Now we're going to go into the scene and we're going to hit play. So we can enter play mode, let it do its thing. Yes, recommend, do what you need it to do. And now our avatar is emulating as if it is in VRChat. Now that it is emulating, we're going to go into our wing control and we're going to go click the wing menu. And in VRChat, it's going to look a little different, but in the emulator, it looks like this. We're going to try the horizontal and the vertical. And then we're going to go click the vertical and the horizontal. And if we keep them on 0, 0, which is nothing, we can see that our wings work. One more thing that we might need to add, 2 more animations in here, wait animations. Wait animations, or empty animations in another name, are just animations that do absolutely nothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to create one really quickly. We're going to go into the animation tab, you're going to hit your avatar and you're going to hit create. You're going to know where you want to save it. I'll save it in Unity only and I'll call this wait animation. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit record. You're gonna, for example, take the wings, hide and show them. It's really irrelevant what action you do. You're gonna hit preview to cancel the preview again. Make sure the avatar is back to normal. You're going to then click whatever you did, press F2 and put a dash or a squiggly or something that it will not recognize. Or even, you know, we can just write wait like that. We want it to turn yellow. We want to make sure that whatever is happening here, it is not detecting and it's actually doing nothing. The reason is it's just a placeholder. So what we're going to do is, first of all, up here, we're going to deattach this and we're going to go back to our FX layer and we're going to go find our animation now. Mine is right here, wait animation. And in the blend tree, we're going to add 2 more motion fields. So, and both of them are going to be the wait animation. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put both of them on 0, 0 again for now. We want them to be here and here. So that'll be 0.75, 0.75. And for this one, we want it up here. So that'll be negative 0.75 and positive 0.75 over here. And now we created these 2 animation. What ends up happening is when you get to a spot right here, it blends between the animation of the wings flapping and the animation of the wings hugging or curled, if you will, and it makes the curl jitter. I can show you an example of what that looks like in a moment. I want to show you my personal fizzbone settings for this avatar. So as you can see, I'm assuming you already know how to apply fizzbones to an extent, but I go up to the armature, hips, spine. When it comes to the wings, I open the wing root, I open WL, that's where I apply the first fizzbone. Here's the settings and here's the graph. I just make sure to drag wing shoulder L into the root transform up here, and I do the same thing with WR and make sure to drag wing shoulder R into here. These are the exact same settings, so you can copy component and paste it. It is very important that you make sure that is animated is checked on, otherwise your wings may not work. Let's move on to the tail mane. These are the fizzbones for that. I will now upload the avatar and we can hop onto VRChat and check what it looks like. So here's an example of what the problem would look like. If you press the wing control and you move up, you see that the wings fly. If you move down, they fold as they should. And as you blend through these, they seem to work. But the moment you get a little bit in between the top and either left or right, the wings still flap while also being in a folded position. And it can create this jittering effect that in the case that you're not exactly where you should be, it tends to mess up. And therefore, we added this to wait animation to make sure that the blur up here, you have a little bit more wiggle room before it switches to a flap animation like so. Here's what it should look like when everything is fixed. Radial money goes up, the wings flap, down they curl, right and left, and there's no longer jittering. There's a little bit of a wiggle room between all of the transitions. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. If not, please don't hesitate to join my Discord or reach out to me. My DMs are always open for anybody who wants help. Thank you so much for supporting me.